Hello viewers and welcome to Dungeon of the Endless. Dungeon of the Endless is a really cool little game that I don't think got enough love. I don't think enough people know about this game. This was made by Amplitude, the developers of Endless Space and Endless Legend. As the name might have clued you in, all these games... Yeah, I don't have a save game, whatever. All these games take place in the same universe. Oh, hold on here, let's watch the cinematic. Alright, so the story of the game is you're on a prison transport going to some place, and all of a sudden your prison transport gets attacked for some reason. And that's all you know. And you bail out in an escape pod. So you get to choose your escape pod. When you start the game up, all that's unlocked is the basic escape pod. I had to unlock those other ones by doing things in the game. We're just going to go ahead and play with the basic one. You get to select the inhabitants of your escape pod. We're going to go ahead and random. So you can see here there's some characters inspired by TF2. The game takes itself very seriously, obviously. There are two difficulties, easy and too easy. It feels like the game's making fun of you, but let me tell you something. I have never managed to beat this game on easy. We're gonna play on too easy for the purpose of me showing you the game here. Nah, you know what? Let's just go for it. This is gonna end horribly. So your escape pod crash lands on a planet with an unbelievably huge explosion. An explosion that honestly doesn't really even make a lot of sense. But here we are. What do we got? Gork Butcher Corroser and Del Bradford. Bradford. That's a very simple name to say. Bradford. For some reason I can't pull it off. Apparently he plays his guitar if you leave him idle for long enough. Alright, so we got passives. The engineer can repair damaged modules. So all the heroes of the game are divided loosely into three categories. Some people were guards on the prison transport, some people were prisoners on the prison transport, and some people were... I should do more research before I start videos. I totally remember that there's three factions, but I don't remember what the third one is. But basically, people of the same faction get along, and they have stuff that buffs them. So these two guys will have attack power when they are in the same room together. So this game is kind of a strange mix of real-time and turn-based. You can see here we got in front of us a door. Every time you go through a door, it advances the game by one turn. And you can see up here we have like a 4X style resource display, industry, science, and food. And every time we open a door, we increment our resources. You can see there. And sometimes we find dust. Dust is this resource. You don't get dust every turn, but sometimes you can find it in the dungeon. And dust is power, basically, for our purposes. So we can power rooms, turn off the power to rooms. You can see it uses up some of our dust to power the room. If the room is powered, there are these little modules, and we can build stuff on them. So let's go ahead and build some stuff. We'll make an industry generator. As you see, we're buffing our resource production. It has some elements that feel a little bit like an RTS. Oh, some sort of horrible monsters. Alright, go ahead and turn on the lights. And you can see we're finding dust pretty regularly. Ah, it's a merchant. It's a merchant with an adorable little dog. This merchant wants us to give him food in exchange for weaponry. I'm basically down with that. Sadly, he does not sell any weapons of the types that my guys use. You can see the little icon tells you what type of weapon this is. These are like pistol type weapons. This guy wants a machine gun. And Del Bradford wants a polearm. That's not what I remember from TF2. But anyway, we can't... what does this do? It gives 6 defense. This gives 3 defense. Honestly, I think we're better off just holding on to our food, because food is also how you level your heroes up. When you level your heroes up, they gain stats and potentially abilities. You can see when I mouse over this, a question mark appears in his passive skills. I mean, he'll get a passive when he levels up next. Yeah, we're just going to hold on to our stuff. So let's move through this door. More dust. More very weak enemies. We got enough food now. Let's level him up. He can repair damaged modules during fights. That's fine. Whatever. That's okay. Ah, okay. This is a research station. So this crazy underground facility that we've somehow crashed into through blind luck has in it some pretty advanced technology. And we can exchange our stored up science for stuff. For the knowledge to create better modules. Now, I'm dumb and I did not see there's totally a major module slot in the room behind this merchant. Let's make a science generator. I would like to research stuff, and we're going to need more than +2 science per turn. So now we're up to 5. That's pretty good. The game probably looks very simple right now. That's just an element of it being so early. And you can see these enemies are not even interested in us. They just started floating away. Some enemies will try to kill your heroes. Some enemies will try to dismantle your buildings. The most dangerous enemies, probably the most dangerous enemies, will go to your escape pod and try to dismantle your power crystal. And if your power crystal gets destroyed, you lose the game, because there's no way to get out of the facility without the power crystal. And I'll show you why in a moment as soon as we discover the elevator. That's right, it's another game with an elevator. Hey look, a table with some food on it. Some food that is God only knows how old. And this place looks like it's been abandoned for quite some time. Alright, so now we're in a little bit of a spot. We do not have enough dust to power all the rooms we revealed. So you've noticed that every time I open a door, there's a chance there's bad guys on the other side of it. Well, also it's the case that every time you open a door, enemies can potentially spawn in any unpowered room. So we're gonna have to start leaving our guys behind strategically, so that enemies can't just waltz up to the power crystal and start banging on it. We have to intercept them. Alright, looks like we only got spawns in the new room. Easy enough to deal with. Sometimes the enemies drop dust when you kill them. Very small amounts usually. Alright, so you can see we're starting to have a lot of unpowered rooms. It's definitely making me a little bit nervous. Hey, the elevator. And no spawns. Alright, so the only way to get the elevator to move, as indicated by this icon, is to take your power crystal and place it into the power socket on the elevator. So, if the power crystal got destroyed, we would never be able to leave. We're going to have to take the elevator up to the next level, and then on that level, find another elevator and take that elevator up, and so on, until we reach the planet's surface, at which point I guess we could try to escape or something. We're going to take this opportunity to level this guy up. Alright, we have opened the last floor of the current dungeon. Oh, and you can see we got some spawns in our unlit rooms here. Looks like it's pretty under control, though. The first floors are pretty easy. Tough to lose a hero in the early game. Alright, we got enough dust from that to light up one more room, which we will do. Alright, so this is where it's going to get tricky. The moment we pull this power crystal out of the ground, enemies are going to start spawning constantly in all the unlit rooms. There's not really anything to be done about that. We just gotta survive as we drag the crystal to the elevator. Speed 18, speed 32. Okay, well, that's a no-brainer. Engineer, you get to carry the crystal. Right, so carrying the crystal slows him down. Oh, wait, just a moment. You know what? This seems like a good opportunity to introduce the other important element, miner modules. You see all these tiny slots in the rooms. You can build miner modules in these. Oh, also, you can pause the game. We're just going to throw some industry at some extra guns. So, because of the fact that you can do this, there's sort of an element of tower defense in the game. It doesn't, it's not incredibly obvious at first. But at some point you start encountering these very large floors that don't have a lot of dust on them. And you're reliant on not just your heroes, but also the web of miner modules that you can construct to defend yourself. Alright, here we go. Fortunately, we got a pretty simple path here. There's one bottleneck that all of the monsters are going to have to come through. We got a guy. He's got an ability that gives him attack power and speed for a few seconds. You can see the prisoner prods are doing their work. The engineer's moving along, but carrying the crystal slows you down, so... Looks like we got this in hand pretty easily. Prisoner prods are doing work. Everybody in the pool, and let's get out of here. Alright. So, the game looks pretty easy, but this is the number of floors that you have to traverse to get out. Like I said, I've never beaten the game on this difficulty. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. And then between floors you get amusing dialogue. Alright, new floor. Right away, more difficult. Because there are two exits from the room with the power crystal. And if it doesn't sound more difficult to you, just wait until you see the complications that can add. All the Endless games have these really nice zoom out features where you get to zoom out to a more tactical view. If you're not familiar with the other Endless games, I strongly recommend them. Amplitude is good at their job. They really know what they're doing. And we're definitely going to play some Endless Legend on this channel in the very near future. So let me tell you, I love me some 4X, and Endless Legend is like the bee's knees. Alright, so we're going to construct a major module here. As well, get our resources flowing. It's sort of an engine game, right? I'm sure you're familiar. If you're enough of a nerd to be watching me play video games on the internet, you're probably enough of a nerd to be familiar with some basic game design theory. Finding more dust, that's always welcome. And we are going to build better food replicators. Sounds good. That will also upgrade all of our existing food replicators, which will be nice. We'll get our resources flowing. More dust, another merchant, another major module slot. This is, everything's coming up Millhouse. This guy wants to trade for dust. So every merchant has a different resource that they want to use. I am not a big fan of a dust merchant. I'm not... Look at this. If we spent 20 dust to buy this thing that I don't even know what it does, we would only have enough dust to light one room. That sounds crazy. So we're just going to abandon this guy. We are going to build something in this room. Let's get more industry generation. I don't know if you noticed, but the cost of the major modules rises each time you build one. So it is important. Our next one's going to be pretty expensive. It is important to get the next one, or to get our industry generation up. We've encountered a steel. These things give a temporary effect to the floor. So we have no defense, but we have significant health regen anytime we're not in a room with monsters. 4 or 5 turns. That's annoying. Also, boy, I wish we had 3 more dust. Alright, so here's the deal. We do not have enough dust to light all 4 of these rooms, meaning that no matter how we apportion our dust, something is going to spawn over on this side of the elevator periodically. Which means we got to leave somebody back to deal with it so it doesn't just run to the elevator and eat the power crystal. Ooh, we've discovered a new guy and also some more dust. We're going to use that dust to light this so we can take our whole crew over here. And we're going to hire this guy. How much food does he want? Wow, that's quite a quote there. You're hired. So what's this guy's deal? Chef Madore. He has the ability to buff the attack power of everybody that's in the room with him. What? You know, I have a piece of armor that I picked up, and I just didn't put on anybody. I was like, yeah, nobody needs that. Alright, well, who wants it? Who's got the worst defense? 22, 23, 20. Congratulations. Oh, okay. I don't have this guy unlocked yet. So you can find any of the heroes in the game in the dungeon, and in order to unlock them for use on the character select screen, so you can choose them as one of your starting heroes, you have to complete a certain number of floors with them. So we're going to try real hard to keep this guy alive for a few floors. Okay, let's go this way. And we're going to leave the butcher behind. Alright, look at all this dust we're finding. This is like magical Christmas land right here. Alright, so what we have here is a natural choke point. The only way to the crystal now is through this room, so we're going to defend the hell out of it. The science machine can help us learn some new minor modules, which may be a good thing for us to do. All right, so we got spawns in the unlit room as well as spawns in the new room. So our heroes are not taking very much damage, and you can see they heal fully after every clear. Ooh. Activating it may bring wealth or death. Well, I'm a gambler, but we don't have the industry right now, so we'll activate that in a couple of rooms. I am not. I'm gonna cover the rest of this room in guns. I'm getting a little bit nervous about how many unlit rooms we're going to have. Come on, find some dust. Okay, find the elevator's good. It's not really that far away from the old elevator. Alright, well, let's push on. We could leave right now, and every extra room we open, of course, makes the floor more dangerous. We got a radio. It lowers your HP but increases your attack power. The Radiating Adaptive Ionizer. There's a lot of that in this game. Items that are slightly deceptively named. It's not a radio, it's the rad IO. Alright, we got enough industry to see what we'll get out of this thing now. Okay, looks like we didn't get much in the way of spawns, just found some stuff in the new room. And the monsters are dropping dust, that's lovely. One of them's going for the crystal, and the butcher will handle it. Alright. So that had a bunch of dust in it. Alright, we're one lucky attack away from powering another room on top of that. So actually, the trip to the elevator should be quite easy, because when it's time, we can just depower some of these rooms and then power up this whole wing and walk a completely lit path. Let's run over to the science machine again real quick. It completed our old research, and we have enough to probably do a new research. Alright, so there are a couple different categories of modules. You got your major modules, which you build on the big slots, and they usually give you resources of some kind. You get your defensive modules, or your healing modules. What are these called? Support modules. These are hindering modules. Right? You get your support modules. In this case, usually these buff the heroes or debuff the enemies in the room, rather than directly dealing damage. Get your attack modules, which usually directly deal damage. And you can see each one has a different targeting priority. So you got to think about that when constructing your network of towers. And then you got your hindering modules. Yeah, which do things like this. That's interesting. I think we're gonna save up for another room, and then we're gonna get Industry Generator 2. The game is still pretty easy at this point. We don't really need to push our defenses too hard. And I really, really want to get... Alright, let's try to light as many of these rooms as possible. I really want to get my resource generation capacity up before we get to the really hard floors. This should be pretty straightforward. Oh! They're actually pretty healthy. They're getting through. You can see when they bash on the crystal, we lose dust. So that's pretty bad. It's important not to let them do the thing that I just let them do. So you may notice that I'm not building on the major module slot here. I don't have the industry, right? Modules get more expensive for each other major module on the floor. That said, even if I did have the industry, I don't know that I would build here, because I don't know how many doors are left on this floor. I suspect that there's not too many doors left to open. And whenever you build a major module, you got to make that trade-off. How much resource generation do you have to get out of it for it to be worth the industry that you spent building it? I suspect we're close enough to the end of the floor that it would not be worthwhile to build a new major module. Right. Let's go ahead and start this up. We'll just get over here and group up for offense. And I'm going to do this thing. Let's turn up our attack power and try to stop these guys from getting through to the crystal. You can see the cooldowns of things are measured in doors opened. Alright, let's reduce the amount of crap coming from that direction. So every door you open makes the floor more dangerous, but it also is a chance for more loot. I mean, we've all played roguelikes at this point. It's a very common sort of risk versus reward behaviors. This is these guys are really numerous. Okay. Hooray for game pause. So we can see our guy here is kind of getting his ass kicked. We have a couple of options. We can try to make him run away, but heroes are slowed in rooms that have monsters in them. But every hero has this big heal me right now button. It costs food. 5 food in his case to heal him for that much. Probably we should be leveling our heroes up. I'm letting my resources just accumulate. I'm not turning them into anything. So you can heal your heroes in combat at any time, and then of course everybody heals back to full at the end of every room. Obviously, you don't want to heal your heroes in combat. That's not an ideal use of your... it's not an ideal use of your food. You like to use all your food just on leveling people. You go ahead and level him up. And he's gained... Oh, okay. That's a nice skill. Sadly, it would take one more food to level up either of our other heroes. Alright. And you can see I have reapportioned our dust so that we have the easiest possible walk. Dell is still the fastest person in the party, so we're going to have him grab the thing, go to the elevator. Honestly, we can just have everybody go to the elevator. I don't think the monsters are going to catch him. Some of them have stopped to dismantle our buildings. We don't really care about that at this point. As soon as Dell gets in the elevator. You can leave people behind. It's important to wait for everybody to be in the elevator. You don't want to lose a hero because you clicked a button too soon. That's embarrassing, to say the least. Alright. Let's go up, I've arbitrarily decided. I like up. So as we continue to climb in the facility, the floors are going to get larger and more difficult. The monsters we fight are going to get more difficult, more damaging, more health, you know. But also, we're going to start finding less and less dust. Let's get our food replicator online first. I really need to start leveling my heroes up. We're a little behind where I'd like to be, frankly. Also keep in mind, I've not really played this game that much. I got, you know, 30, 40 hours, I think. So I might just be bad at it. My strategy advice might not be sound. And that might be why I'm losing all the time. I'm going to level this guy up right quick. Oh. He gains food whenever he kills monsters. That's cool. We are finding enough dust to keep lighting the rooms as we go, but it's, we're definitely stretched a little thinner than I'd like. Get our industry generation online. You see, you can build modules in combat, but they build pretty slowly. I totally didn't even realize that there was a module over here. We could have built that industry generator one turn earlier, I think. Alright, let's keep pushing on. Alright. What sort of merchant are you? You are a food merchant. Sandwich. T-shirt. Of course, stands for tunneled shirt. That's quite a lot of defense. You can see our guys have defenses in the 20s naturally, so this will almost double these guys' defensive capability. It's a lot of food. There's a different T-shirt, a titanium shirt. It's pretty good at what it does. Plus 60 HP is cool. We're actually going to buy one of these for Dell right now. And then this guy uses a sword. Still don't have any weapons. I would really like to find some appropriate weapons. Alright, we're starting to have power problems. Let's find some dust. Oh, we found an item. What's this? An Armani suit. I'm going to guess this is a suit worn by pirates. Oh, it's a sound of aggression. Well. This guy has a lot of health. So he's gained the passive skill, me first, which makes monsters want to fight him. Okay. I like it. Also, a lot of defense. Honestly, I think that was probably a pretty great find. Attack power is nice. That's a lot of HP lost. That's my only concern. Although, I guess now that... well, these two want to be together. So we'll give him this. He'll stick with the Butcher, and that way the Butcher can protect his suddenly very low HP ass. Alright, so we're going to leave the chef behind as a guard against things spawning in the dark. And these two are going to push forward together. Pretty standard video game stuff. Your party can have up to 4 people in it. Go get him. With most of the pods, you can only have 2 starting characters, so usually you will complete your party by finding people in the facility. Alright, an elevator with 9 dust in it is pretty great. I'm happy about that. It was 60 food to buy that really nice armor from that guy. We're definitely going to save up and buy that. Another 9 dust. Awesome. Oh, jeez. Okay, we're going to activate some stuff here. As you can see, the spawns are starting to get pretty mean. He's going to need some heals. He's really just taken a ton of monsters. I make liberal use of the pause function. Man, I wish that this merchant dealt in any resource other than food. Look how many monsters we got there. Jeez. Alright. Alright, Jesus. That was brutal. We survived, but that was an expensive room. We lost a lot of resources there. Okay, research. Oh, never mind. Research later. Combat now. Alright, we're going to try to take on... Just barely got there in time. What is this guy's health at right now? 3. We don't actually have... Oh boy, we don't have that much food. Alright, well, these two are going to run as fast as they can to get over here. We need to start building guns, gun modules. Is this the room I want to do that in? You can see the rooms have varying numbers of module points. This room really does not have very many. It's kind of inconvenient that this room is the choke. Well, it needs to happen. And plus, we've really not been encountering that many rooms with major module slots, so we are building up quite a backlog of industry. Alright, that'll mean we don't have to heal the chef anymore, because everything's going to focus on the butcher now. Alright. Jesus, all of our food, man. We are not going to be able to buy that guy's thing. Rough. Once again, I did not see the major module slot behind the merchant. I gotta get better about that. We cannot afford to be not having maximum resource generation. Okay, so things are getting a little ugly. Honestly, with our industry generation being what it is, and prisoner prods being so cheap, I'm going to go ahead and burn 12 industry on what may be a relatively temporary measure, because obviously if we get more industry, we're going to light the elevator. Or more industry. If we get more dust, we're going to light the elevator. Dell plays a relaxing ditty on his guitar. So spending all of our food on healing like this means two things. First of all, we're not getting that armor for that merchant. But secondly, I'm not getting the chance to level up my heroes in a way that would maybe make them not need to be healed so much during combat. Okay, well, we got the dust. Everybody just get back to the thing. I'll go ahead and light this room. And we're probably going to have to use some more heals. Jeez. Okay, maybe I didn't even need to use that heal. That might have just been 5 wasted food. That's possible. Okay, well these are not useful anymore, but I'm glad that we got that lit at least. I'm not sure if larger rooms spawn more than smaller rooms, if it's like a really important thing to keep your large rooms lit. That elevator certainly seemed to be spawning a lot of monsters every turn, though. Oh, we found a machine that we can break down for industry. No enemy spawns this turn. Do we have enough industry to make a major module? We do. Do I think it's going to be worth it at this point is the question. Probably not. We're going to save that industry for next floor. So I really want to get Food Replicator 3. Food is definitely our bottleneck right now. That's the place where we're having the most trouble. But it might be the case that we need to get some minor modules to make combat a little easier so that we don't have to spend so much food on heals. Let's go ahead and get this. That seems pretty powerful. I've never seen that before. I should also say that today a big free update for the game was released. It has stuff in it that I am not familiar with yet, so things I've never seen. So we're going to run into things that I don't know what they are yet. Alright, pretty easy. Everybody run. Wow. He is getting just torn apart. Is he even going to make it? He's going to have to pop his ability. I would love to save that for combat, but clearly he's going to need that. Wow. Holy shit, he died quickly. Well, that's probably the game. That would be my guess, is that we just lost the game. What do I want to do here? Let's bulldoze one of these and take cover in this room. Oh, you know what? That thing, that new thing we're researching is not actually finished yet. That's why I did that bulldoze, because I wanted to build one of those in here. Wow! He died from such high health so very quickly. Yeah, it's all over, boys. So yeah, that's Dungeon of the Endless on the easy difficulty. Well played, me. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. I never beat the game. I have beaten the game on too easy. I've never beaten the game on easy. One time I got to the 4th floor. That was pretty good. Yeah, look at these embarrassing stats. This is some Binding of Isaac shit right here. And we did not get enough floors to unlock our chef guy. I think we only completed 1 floor with him. Well, that's a bummer. Come back next time when we'll be playing maybe this again on too easy, because easy's too hard, or maybe, just maybe a game I'm good at. Yeah.